Okay, so I'm vibe coding with Trae IDE, and this is the application that I'm working on. And we just have some few bugs that I want to fix, and at the same time, test the capabilities of Trae IDE. So, for those of you who don't know, so Trae is basically a similar product to Casa or VS Code with chat mode and agentic mode that allows um, an AI model to automatically write and edit code in your repository. So you can just play this short video here to see the capabilities of Trae. So the great thing about it is that currently it's free, so literally anyone can just sign in and start using Trae. And I assume they will probably start charging people at some point down the line. And so it's yeah, it's a win-win currently. If you have like ideas that you want to execute, obviously that might also mean they are taking your data in the process, and it's something that you need to think about as to whether you are happy with that exchange where you get this powerful agent that helps you code faster, and they in return get your code and your data. So it's not a topic for this video. So now that we've talked about what Trae can do, let me just open the project that I'm working on, and you'll see here that I have open an issues.md file that has a list of things that I want to fix in this current version of the app. So the first one that we'll be looking at is this will be the item where we want to apply the dark theme on the drawer, and I can just show you what the problem is currently. So you will see that if I switch to the mobile view by pressing F12 on Chrome, I can sort of see how my app will look on a mobile phone, and the menu, as you can see, is collapsed, and I can open it up like this, and you will see here that although the main page is in dark mode, this side menu here is not. So that is the bug that we want to fix with Trae. Right, so I'm going to switch here from chat to builder mode, and then I'm going to give it this issues file as context, as well as the navbar component where we need to make that change. And then I'll just give it some context here on what I want it to do. Notice here that you also have the ability to select your own model, to add your own model, or to use some of the pre-built models that they provide here. So I'm going to use DeepSeek version 3. You can see as you hover through each of these models, you are able to see the capabilities that it has. So I'm going just to give it the instructions on what we're expecting. So I'll say, please help me address the first issue on the list concerning the dark theme on the mobile menu in the navbar. Maybe I could have phrased that better, but I think that's good enough context for for the agent to get to work there. So let's see what DeepSeek can do for us here. So you can see here on the left, it's starting to make edits, and basically it's making sure that the component appears. So the component, the menu component appears with styles that are similar, that are consistent with the styles on the main page. And we can see here that indeed that is the case. And then if we switch to light mode, and then it shows the light mode there. Okay, and then let's just check again, because my system currently set to dark mode. You can see there it's a nice dark blue shade there. So I'd say I'm sort of 90% happy with that. Obviously I would expected it to use black a black background to be consistent with this at the main screen, but I think this is still a good choice, this dark blue here. So maybe 95% on this first task. So let's just go back. So I will accept. So I would assume that as I do that, the Trae IDE developers are sort of, looking at these chats and then deciding on whether to improve the agent, or whether the agent is ready for maybe premium offerings. But again, that's not really the topic, and just while we're here, let's just remove this. Let's remove this variable that's not doing anything there. So we can then open our issues file and update this first issue as complete, and optionally we can commit our changes here. Notice we have the same generate commit message that we get on a tool like VS Code, not VS Code, yes, and it just gives a summary of the changes that were made. And we click commit, and since this is a new laptop, I just need to make sure that I've configured my username, and git config user.name, that will be my name there. And then my email, so I just said my name on Mac there, so that I'm able to know, since I'm using multiple pieces. I think it will help if I know where the changes came from, in case I need to make a quick fix and I go to the PC that has the latest state of the project. Okay, so let's go to the next task. So the next task is to ensure that we do not show any error those when a user cancels a share operation. We can just print it out, or leave it out altogether. So this time I'm also not sure where the component is. So let's see if Trae is able to search for the uh, let's see if Trae is able to search for the content for the affected component and make the necessary changes. So basically this change is just to say if, so let's just open one of the positions here. So if I click on, let me exit mobile. So if I click on this, you can see if I click on any job post here and I want to click share, and then I click cancel, it shouldn't really show an error. Basically, that's what we're saying. So the tester was getting an error toast when testing this on an Android mobile. So we just want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So it's saying I'll handle the share logic. Oh, so it did find the opportunity card, and that's exactly where the issue was happening. And then we're just checking that the user, if the error is an abort error, don't show the error toast. Otherwise, still important to show it. But because this error was detected on a mobile, we will not be able to implement it or to test it out this time. But I think I'm happy with the logic that was applied here. So I'm gonna move on to, I'm gonna skip number 3 because that I need to do manually. So I'll probably just copy this from here and put it here, and then we'll look to the next task. So basically, moving on to task 3, we need to ensure that so it's not on the features section. So I'm just making sure, yeah, the CTA components are fully responsive on all screen sizes. So again, we can look at what the problem is as it stands. So you'll see here that if I switch to the mobile view, there is a problem here. These 2 buttons, I don't know what's happening here, so we just need to fix that. So this is our call to action card. So let's see what Trae comes up with here. And I'm gonna click OK. And already has the right page. Notice that I didn't really, okay, I did obviously have this page open, so that was a hint. But I'm very impressed with the fact that it's able to very quickly find the part of code that you're talking about. That's really, really cool. And in contrast with VS Code, maybe just a comment, VS Code tends to to give a lot of rate limit errors, especially when you're using Claude 3.5, 3.7 is almost unusable as of recent. Um, so I'm guessing because of you know very high interest, as you would expect from what many claim is the best coding model out there. Okay, so that's great. So you see now the buttons, the two buttons here show nicely on small devices. And then let's see if it's a medium device. Okay, then they get back to their horizontal layout. So this is a 100% for Trae on this task because it did it perfectly. All right, so the last thing that we will want to do here is a bit more involved, but I probably don't want to do this now because most of the jobs that are currently shown are basically most of the jobs are basically quite old. So for now, because I still need to test other features, I'm just gonna leave them there, and then instead let's do our auto-generated commit again here with the latest changes, and you'll see it's summarizing all the stuff that we did for this round. So let's just wait for it and then to commit and then synchronize the changes. So all right, so I'm more or less happy with the latest so with the work here. So the next thing that I want Trey to help me with is hopefully it knows how to do this. So I have a problem where when a user logs in, this status seems not to be updating right away, meaning that I'm left with a situation where this sign in button is shown, but then the user is logged in. So I just want to see if Trey is gonna be able to help me with that. So I'm gonna start a new chat because this does not relate to anything else that um, we were doing before. So I have a problem with the way the user session updates on the nav bar until I refresh the sign in button is shown even after I have successfully logged in. That could be the problem. So let's see if Trey can help me here. I've tried this before on ChatGPT, I think using both GPT-4o and Claude 3.5, and yeah, the solutions that it suggested did not exactly work out. So let's see what it suggests here. So it says I've identified and fixed the issue in the nav bar by modifying the session provider, configuration. The problem was that the refresh interval was set to 0, preventing automatic updates. I've updated it to check. Okay. Okay, I do see the changes that it has adjusted here. So the only way to find out if this works is to actually test it. So I'm gonna go to my helper script again and then copy the admin user password, and then we will open our application running on Chrome and exit developer tools at this point. And let's see here, you see that here it says it's showing this sign in button, but the user is definitely logged in. So you see when I do a refresh, and it shows that I've logged in. So let's sign out and then log in again. I did click sign out.